I'm Ross Miles from Pro Football Focus Fantasy. Welcome to another IDP update. The Oakland Raiders have been active in free agency, using their $60 million plus in cap space to revamp their defensive line. Somewhat surprisingly though, they let one of the most underrated pass rushers in the NFL, Lamar Houston, walk and sign a 5-year, $35 million deal with the Chicago Bears. Instead, the Oakland front office seemed content in signing aging veterans who have struggled with injuries over the previous few years, namely Justin Tuck and LaMarr Woodley. Woodley had been released by the Steelers and he will step in and play right defensive end for the Raiders. This is a boon for Woodley's fantasy value because previously he's been an outside linebacker and where he recorded 57 sacks in his first 7 years in the league with Pittsburgh. Although he recorded double-digit sacks in 3 of the first 4 years in the league, he has been pretty poor recently, missing 14 games over the last 3 seasons, and that's obviously why the Steelers have let him go. He's going to be an interesting fantasy option, although I wouldn't put any more value on him than a DL2 value in this Oakland setup. Tuck, on the other hand, is a little bit more of a conundrum. This is a player who, back between 2007 and 2010, recorded 3 out of 4 seasons with over 60 total tackles and double-digit sacks. This made him one of the most valuable players in IDP Fantasy Football at defensive line position, actually making him a top 5 player. However, he has also struggled with injury and inconsistency ever since. Although over the last 6 games last season, he did record 9.5 sacks. He, like Woodley, will have a little bit more fantasy value this season because he is guaranteed more snaps. So I would class him as a defensive lineman too. Personally, if I'm looking to add either of these players to my roster, I prefer them as a rotation player or a flex at that position, although they have got borderline DL2 value. In the wake of his departure from New York though, Justin Tuck leaves behind Jason Pierre-Paul, another player who struggled with injury. Jason Pierre-Paul was one of the hottest names in fantasy football for quite a while. Unfortunately, he hasn't lived up to those lofty expectations since. He needs to turn it on this season or he could soon be pushed to the wayside. The player I'm most interested in though is last year's rookie, Demontre Moore. Moore's a player I personally was very high on and had rated over Dion Jordan, so I'm really excited to see what Moore does with his extended opportunity. If I was a fantasy owner, Moore's a player I'd certainly be making a play for. I've been Ross Miles from Pro Football Focus Fantasy. I'll see you next time.